that we had for real estate tools and apps and all that shit was all Microsoft based. So if you had an iPhone back then, you were
doesn't matter.
Fucked.
Still pussy.
I mean,
because they didn't have shit for Apple. For
I
real
always
estate.
back in the day when I had phones and stuff. I grew up. My first phone was a Motorola Razr, that thing that came kind of out after the Razr, which is super popular, but not as popular. I had that, and I was like, I really want a fucking iPhone. And like they didn't sell them on Cincinnati Bell, which my mom, as cheap as she is, would not get anything besides Cincinnati Bell. So what I did was bought a fucking iPhone and then like cracked it and unlocked it, jailbroke it, and did everything so that I could use Cincinnati Bell on just a regular iPhone. It was a lot of work and a lot of money to get a fucking iPhone to do that with, because it's not like you have a contract and it's like $200 plus the contract. So yeah, we got there. But after that, I kind of sold my soul to Apple. Like I use Apple Music and.
See, I don't use
Nobody
Apple
else
Music.
does.
I don't use Apple Music, and that's because it sucks. Spotify's where it's at.
Spotify is a little bit better, but at this point, I have so much music that...
I guess that's me too. I'm not going to change because Spotify is all my shit.
It just is what it is. And when I added all my music to Spotify back in the day, because I did switch over for a little bit, it like doubled them up because I already had them on my iPhone, but it also like took them into Spotify and re-downloaded them all on the Spotify app, so... It is what it is. We're here, episode 43 of Your House, Our Rules. We're back with Mike Wallet and fucking Bailey Earnhardt. You know, the new little things. Just want to apologize.
He called us little things.
Mike has a little thing. So do I too.
I knew it was
mine's
coming.
More micro.
I get to choose myself.
Actually, her clit's probably bigger than both of us.
Well, here's the thing. That's why I kept my mouth shut, because I knew you were going to say something, and it just was beneficial for me to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, a lot of the times it is.
Keith knows the size of mine. We bought it together.
Do I, though?
We bought it together.
Oh, that one. That's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
no, I was there. Fucking, that's the best strap that fucking anyone's ever bought in their entire fucking life. But moving on, episode 43 of Your House, Our Rules. We got the two people back. I do apologize for last week. I said that we're going to be a little bit more consistent with the uploading. We got this new setup with Pro Tools. I couldn't figure out how to get it running. We literally met up right here to record the episode, and I could not get Pro Tools running on my laptop. Figured it out, so now we're here. We're going to get right into the topics that we got at hand. Voting. It's been a week later than we needed to be, but we at least got the announcement that Donald Trump is running for presidential elections in 2024, and that does it is incorporated into the things that we're kind of talking about. A lot of people are talking about voting. You know, some people think that it's important. Other people are like, you know what, this shit really doesn't matter because the fucking system chooses itself. So we're going to get into that a little bit. I think that at different levels, it is a little bit different. Like the presidential election, I don't think that if anyone saw the last presidential election that they can really justify that Biden got into office. I think that was like clearly rigged. Once you get onto the like more city level type things, I think that it's a little bit more legitimate, but there's other things. And I know that y'all have opinions about it. So what you got?
Bailey, start this off, girl.
Yeah, I have never voted. I'm 20, almost 25. Never voted. I have the right to vote, and I have the right to not vote. And a lot of my family say, you know, I should vote. And a lot of my family says that Biden wouldn't have won if I would have voted. And I think that's bullshit because...
Was it down to one vote?
Yeah.
Apparently it came down to one vote.
It came down to Bailey.
No, that's how I think. And, you know, I don't think that's true.
And that's not even how it works on the presidential level, too, because you have, like, electoral
the electoral votes,
Correct.
yeah. And so this round of voting, I didn't vote again. And it's because it's just a waste of time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think our democracy is an actual democracy. And that will piss a lot of people off. And I understand. I've fucking dealt with it through my whole family. Mm-hmm. I get it. You know. But I think I'm pretty knowledgeable about it. It's not like I just chose not to vote one day. I researched, you know, is this worth my time or is it not?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's not worth my time. Because I'd rather be doing other shit in my life than fucking going in and voting, even though it takes like, you know, 30 minutes to do.
Well, it depends on what you're voting on.
Yeah, but it's not, you know, I don't think that it matters. I think they have who they want to be in office. I think the big wigs that make the money choose who they want in office.
Yeah. So that is the impression that I have on like the higher level of things, especially with like the electoral college, the way that it works. You're supposed to put in your vote for like the populist vote for that state, and then they get all those electoral votes. But then the like electoral electees, they're technically labeled to just vote against whatever the entire populace said. So like we could as Ohio, we went red, we went Republican this year. If this was a presidential election, essentially one of the people who are electoral college just says, you know what, fuck the people, and votes liberal.
Yeah,
and
they don't confirm the election results from that state. Yes.
Yeah, and and at that point things get a little bit sketchy. But on more like, inner circle level, like city governments and stuff, I think as you move down to the smaller governments, it gets a little bit more legitimate. But then you got these things that you see like gentrification and gerrymandering, which if you don't know what gerrymandering is, it kind of has to do with gentrification, which is like, moving middle class, upper class people into these kind of lower class neighborhoods in order to like, I guess whitewash them is a word that we could use, even though it's a little bit more racial than what it needs to be, but it's to do that. But gerrymandering is the technical term for, they actually have politicians that are inserting these people into those areas in order to get the votes for that certain section so that they can win the election or whatever. And like, there's so much that goes into it that it just gets kind of sketchy at the end of the day. And
politicians in themselves are sketchy.
So much politics that go into politics, right?
Yeah, everything in this world is sketchy. And when it comes down to voting, that's one of the, I mean, if you watched our last podcast, we talked about how the people with the money rule the world. Mm-hmm. They rule the world. In voting, everything. They pick who they want to fucking be in office. Exactly. Even if it's on the lower tier of politics, they still pick. And I don't think that the people have any say in what the fuck happens to our country.
So you think that on all levels then?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I think local's a little different. I think local's a little bit more, accurate in their voting.
I don't know.
And how they do things.
Would you say that Ohio is Republican in a whole?
As a whole, there's a lot of areas in this state that are Republican. It's the thing. The thing is the larger areas that are Democratic offset a lot of the small parts of Ohio that are Republican.
If you look at the map of Ohio on how they voted, every single county is completely red except for the counties that are Columbus,
the largest,
Cleveland, Cincinnati, especially. And Toledo.
Here's the thing, though. If we weren't Republican, I mean, we've got DeWine, who's a Republican. We've had a lot of Republicans in office.
DeWine might say he's Republican, though.
He's a rhino, I know.
He's not.
Cincinnati is very Democratic. Like, the city of Cincinnati is very Democratic, but, like, the west side over here in these parts are very conservative. Very conservative.
And as I was growing up, like this side of town, the west side, it fucking hardcore Catholic, fucking Republican.
Yeah,
they're there.
I don't think sorry to cut you off. I don't think the state as a whole is Democratic. I think it is more Republican, but by a small margin.
Yeah, but it's more Republican. Like, I mean, yes, I am around a lot more, I think, Republicans than...
Well, you grew up in Springboro, which isn't Cincinnati, so it's a little bit different.
But even outside of that, I mean, I have friends from all over. Mm-hmm. And it might be because, my friends have the same views as me, but even, like, my family's friends... Like, I have a lot of family that are Democratic, but a lot more majority are not.
I heard him laughing on the thing.
I really honestly, and to piggyback off that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know a whole lot of people that have come up to me when the last presidential election was going on that said that they voted for Joe Biden.
No,
the majority of the individuals that I never even talked politics to.
No, that's a crazy thing.
That's where it gets a little bit weird too, because you're like, where we're at, fucking people are all voting for Trump. Right. Everyone's like a huge Trump fanatic. It's like, really? And maybe he has a lot of support in other fucking places, but I really
talked
to
a lot of people in different places that said the exact same thing I was saying.
No, I know, me too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying with with the presidential election. I mean, that's the top of the top. Mm-hmm. But even the local, like DeWine, he says he's Republican. And that's what I have against, this is a whole different topic, but like my family is like, when you vote, all Republicans, just check it. All Republicans. Yeah. And I'm like, no, like, I'm going to vote who has the views that I would like to be in office.
That's exactly how it should be.
Yeah, but DeWine, he's Republican. He's not.
Yeah.
He is more Democrat than Republican, and he puts that on his title as Republican. He's not.
Well, it doesn't necessarily matter what you are at heart. It matters where you can get the votes from and who's willing to fucking back you financially.
No, I know.
So, I mean, like...
But they're still voting for that person based upon the
just their political
views of what they have.
Yeah. It's more of an issue with the fact that we divide this entire fucking political system into only two parts.
I want to say something about that.
Our political parties are fucked.
I want to say something about that too, because that's the thing. Like you mentioned, Trump was announced his run for president. Like he took a small little stab at DeSantis recently. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Trump did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is the right move there, but it kind of played off and whatever. It was whatever.
Like Florida's governor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My parents love him.
Yeah, I enjoyed DeSantis too.
He's fantastic. They're both I mean, whatever.
We might be seeing him run for president.
He also took a dig like and had like a little riff with Candace Owens recently.
Mm-hmm. Trump did?
Yeah, and Candace Owens went on her podcast and was talking about some things that happened with her and Trump. It's like, dude, his speech, apparently, I didn't listen to all of it. I saw the highlights. His speech recently when he announced, it was fantastic because he didn't take a dig at anybody. If he could, like, the reason why all these people are divided is because all they do is talk and do whatever it is to
get the money to back them on that side.
Put down the other person, whether they're within their party or the opposite party.
Well, I mean, it's a competition.
If you're to be a great leader, in my opinion, regardless of what side you're on, if you can get everybody together and say, okay, let's talk about this. Let's do a few things for you, a few things for us, kind of come in a commonality and a common ground with these issues. Let's try and figure this out together so all of America doesn't think that it's just this all the time.
Well, that's the thing about it. At the end of the day,
it doesn't have to be like that.
But at the end,
I have the same view you do.
We all do. At the end of the day, most people really are moderate, might be left-leaning, might be right-leaning. But it's the fact that in order to run for office legitimately, you need to pick one side.
I know.
And you need to be able to fucking pick the majority. You don't need to pick everything that leans to one side, but the majority of the things that you are running for and the fucking views that you have on each topic, you need to go to one side or you're not going to get back.
Correct. Yeah. The problem is now that within politicians, especially between Democrats and Republicans going at each other, it is now trickled down to the American people where if you're a Democrat and you're a Republican and you're talking in a room together, one side or the other, you're going to you talk and debate about stuff. And then all of a sudden you don't talk to that person anymore.
Yeah.
You lose friendships over this kind of stuff.
And I know people
and it
like
doesn't
that.
need to be like that.
Well, okay. So it's the same thing. Like, when you're at a bar or at a party, you don't talk about politics or religion. Two things that my family has instilled in me. Do not talk about this, even though they do fucking at parties. But as a person, there's like, don't talk about these things.
Based
in my
on the
mind,
person. Religion's
my mind,
a no-go for me, but politically, I can talk to someone who's there.
So in my mind, they're very similar things, politics and religion. They're supposed to be completely separate things. They're not, because most Republicans are very religious. A lot of Democrats are not. So they are very similar. And in my mind, I know that you, and probably you, would not have this view, and that's okay. But religion, to me, has caused so many issues where I don't stand by religion. Politics, to me, has caused so many issues that I don't fuck with politics.
I don't know why you would ever think that I have that view, because I think that religion is the single most manipulative thing. That's why I said that I won't talk about religion and politics.
Politics and religion are both a huge cult.
Yeah.
Like, they are not good, and that's why our democracy is not a democracy. Is because, in the Constitution it says to, what's the exact saying? You can't have politics and religion.
Oh, yeah.
Separation of church and state.
Church and state,
yeah. We've gotten so far away from that it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, in my mind. Like, it's together now, and it sucks, and that's the world we live in. But that's why I don't care to vote. I don't care to go to church. I don't give a fuck to vote.
I I do think that we're slowly starting to move into a place where we're actually dividing church and state. But I mean, the people who wrote the Constitution and like our national anthem says one nation under God. So obviously there is influence by religion. The new Roe v. Wade fucking overturning that we had and all that. Like, a lot of that was backed by the Supreme Court people who are like...
their beliefs and their Christianity.
Their beliefs fucking help them get to that point. So it's not necessarily fucking separated, even though we say that it is. But that has to do with all the propaganda that goes on in this country. Because, like, a lot of people are like, yo, fucking Russia, China, they fucking propagate to all their people to make them believe one thing, but we do the same shit.
Well, you know, when a lot of shit was happening, like... I was talking to you about we were talking about the Ukraine war, and we were talking about some other things that happened inside of our country, like the gas prices rising, everything like that. And I was like, I think on one of these podcasts, I said, watch, there's an election coming up.
Well, it happens every time.
Yeah, it happens every time. Yeah. But why does it happen every time? Because of the propaganda and who they want you to vote for. Yeah. Like... You know, Biden said he's going to absolve
by who they want you to vote for. Who is the they? Is it the American people?
It's the politicians. The
people in power are the people that have the fucking oil.
And they have
the power.
She's saying they have
oil ain't necessarily coming from here.
She's saying they have the control to dictate who people vote for based upon what they put on the TV and the internet and all the other stuff. Yeah. Gas was just what was happening at the time. But I told you that things were going to go haywire, and they did. And it happens every time because of the propaganda. It happens every time because of the propaganda because they're going to get you to vote for a person. It all goes back to brainwashing, and the United States have been doing it for years. Well, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to say the whole gas thing, part of the reason why the gas went up was because they cut off the drilling domestically. So the pipeline, the Keystone pipeline, all that stuff got cut off. So if you have a short supply.
Why'd they do that?
Because the electric cars. That's part of the propaganda. I was just going to say there's a kind of a double whammy there because they wanted you to be more green efficient
and
in electric vehicles.
Cut millions of jobs in the United States because of this.
Yeah, when they laid off all those workers in the pipeline stuff, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Was that they cut off the pipeline.
Yeah.
When you can't drill domestically.
Yeah, we talked about that in one of the podcasts.
The Keystone pipeline isn't fucking.
I'm not saying
they're not drilling in the United States. It would help streamline things.
But it allows for the oil to be less expensive coming from where it was coming from the Keystone pipeline than it is coming from Russia.
Don't want to make this
or anywhere else that they get their oil from.
An oil conversation because we're talking about like the legitimacy of voting and stuff like that. Now
we get off track, Bailey.
Yeah, we do get off track, but it ties into what we're talking about.
It does.
Yeah, but you made the point that you almost think that it's brainwashing to get the people to vote certain ways. I think that it's just rigged to a point where they pick what they want to pick and make it look like.
No, yes.
Yeah, you're right.
No, it is, but they have to have that brainwashing effect to make the people in America think that it's okay. To make them think that whoever they voted for, they were like, "Oh yeah, that was the right pick," and then they were like, "Yeah, you're right, it was the right pick," and they picked them already.
Yeah. Because of what everybody's telling them.
Yeah, yep. It goes into. I mean, if you take it back all the way to the conspiracy theories about Charles Manson, shit like that, where the CIA was brainwashing people. They have been brainwashing people for years,
decades.
Yeah, so they just have got. Like I was talking with my uncle, and I was like, the Democrats have become smarter and have found a different brainwashing technique than the Republicans have, because he was like, well, if they're brainwashing people, why the fuck isn't the Republicans brainwashing people to vote for Trump or just a Republican general? And I was like, because they figured out the loophole.
I mean, both sides are.
It's also not the right way to do things.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree,
why do the same thing that somebody else is doing if it's the wrong thing to do? Just because you'll be successful at doing it, that's not the right way to do it.
It comes down to the money and the power.
For sure, it does. That's correct. But the problem, I think, is also the accountability that's not being held against the people that are doing this shit, that are in power.
Well, who's going to hold them accountable?
Exactly.
That's why there was a civil war.
That's what I'm saying.
But how can we have a civil war now when they have years, like their technology compared to ours are way different?
This isn't necessarily a civil war is what they would want us to happen. A civil war would be left versus right. Fucking what we need is to fucking unite against the people who want to divide us.
Correct.
If we want to do it. And fucking the uppers are the one who are trying to divide us into two separate entities to fucking fight against each other.
The thing is we don't know the uppers.
The politicians.
No, I don't think it is.
And the businessmen.
I think
it's people higher up than the politicians.
And who knows? There could be. I mean,
I don't think it is just the politicians. Now, this is a conspiracy theory that's been going around for a while.
I think the people that are actually in power, that are running things, they are very rich people that have the financial meanings to do so, and we know who they are because if you have that much money, your ego is not.
And they get it from the donations that they receive for their campaign.
Yep.
From the large companies that are, like you said, it's the business owners,
it's the people that pay the politicians. And
Correct.
It's not just the taxpayers' dollars.
They're siding with them in what it is that they want to ultimately accomplish. Those big businesses are because the politicians are being paid by those people to do so.
And then the Americans, the regular Americans like us three, are getting fucked. That's the reason I don't vote. That's the reason I do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's going to happen either way if I vote or not, and none of us can change it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do on that day, not all the time, not every time, because if I have something too much going on and I can't make it, then I can't fucking make it. Like I do when I don't want to say when it's a convenience to me, but I mean, I'll probably vote 80% of the time, 90% of the time, but there's times when I'm so busy during the day and stuff that when polls close, I just wasn't able to make it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, most of the time when there was opportunities to vote, I was working. I used to be a firefighter, so I was working 24-hour shifts.
I know they'll talk about mail-ins and all that stuff.
This year, I sat in the truck when my uncle went and voted. Yeah. Like, we were at the polls. We were at the church.
Yeah, and you didn't go in?
Also, we were at the church that you voted for politics at. I don't
understand the whole mail-in thing, and that could be another podcast for another day.
Oh, the mail-in thing's a whole different topic.
Well, I mean, we can bring it in. That's one way I feel like if it was something where the system actually does choose itself in the sense that, like, they're literally just choosing and making it seem like it's
correct election. Because of the mail-in.
Yeah, with the mail-in, that's so much easily fucking distorted.
Manipulative. Yes, for sure.
They're able to do a lot.
It kind of reminds me of Bill Burr, the comedian Bill Burr's stand-up. He talks about, like, McDonald's. He's like, why did McDonald's open up the ability to have breakfast like at any time during the day? He's like, if I'm McDonald's and putting that clown on TV in a commercial and saying, listen, if you can't get your drunk ass down here by 11, you're getting a fucking burger. Yeah. It's like if you can't make it to the polls on that day, whether it has to be a national holiday and everyone's off, however they'd want to do it, like if you can't make it that day, then you shouldn't, like, you shouldn't be fucking able to do it. Yeah. And I understand, like, senior citizens and individuals in like the state of maybe not having the ability to get there, but at the same time, it's like some of those people maybe
we should open it up to more than just maybe we should just open it up to more than just the second Tuesday of fucking November.
Yeah, well, to be honest, taking it back to the older population voting, and how I was sat in that parking lot for maybe 45 minutes while my uncle voted. The only people that walked in and out of that church, and it could be the place where I was at, it was in Lebanon, but, the only people that walked in and out were the older population. And that's because they're retired. They don't have to go to work,
Which makes
whatever. What are most older population?
Conservative.
Yep.
And I feel like the younger people now are doing the mail-in things, and they're getting like maybe who knows they might be submitting for Michael, whatever. I don't know.
That's where the big swing thing is. So there's demographics that they put into age, and like the biggest demographic that you can hit is males age 16 to 35, I think it is, because that is the vast majority of the population of people.
Yeah.
So that's where they try to get it. they target. That's more for like advertising, like video, audio type wise or whatever, because you have a whole different type of mix with everything else. But those are the people that they try to target, and it's the one thing that they don't do very well is actually getting those people to go out and vote. Because
yes, they don't.
They're young and they just don't fucking give a shit.
Yeah, the younger generation nowadays, I think, are more liberal.
I agree with
younger,
you.
Younger generation has always been more liberal.
Why is Biden in office if the younger generation is more liberal? Or no, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
No, actually, no, it doesn't, because, like I said, most of the people that I saw coming in and out of that place are older.
We're older people, yes. Maybe at that time. Okay, but
It
there's a
could
lot of
be.
mail-in stuff with, I think, the younger generation doing a lot of the mail-in stuff. I don't know how any of that stuff works, but all I know is, like, to kind of go back to your point, your original point, the way I look at things, just from an overall perspective, is, like I said, if I can vote that day, I'll vote. If I can't, I won't, right? But at the same time, it's like I'm so focused on... So I can understand, first of all, I can understand why you're like, I don't care to vote, it's whatever, because I'm so focused on what it is that I can control.
Yeah.
And doing what I can in order to make me successful, because at the end of the day, after last Tuesday or whatever it was for the election,
we're still going to get
come
taxed.
fucking Wednesday.
We're still going to have
how much
to,
of that shit actually mattered?
We're going to still get taxed.
Wednesday,
we're going to still fucking have to pay for food. We're going to still have to pay for all this shit. It don't matter who the fuck's in office.
Well, come Wednesday, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to eat my fucking breakfast, I'm going to go and do my thing just like I did Tuesday and before that.
Yeah. They need to have a little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more incentive with voting, because like I don't agree with that, because I believe more in governing yourselves. But
exactly,
if you really want people to vote, there needs to be fucking a reason to do so.
Right.
And I feel like they do not create much of a reason to do so.
No.
Because like you said, at the end of the day, like, does it matter that Biden's in fucking office or Trump's in office? There's some things that change, but I think for the most part, the people that really think that is making an impact are just kind of fucking out there.
They're allowing it to make an impact on their lives.
You can put whatever rule you want to on me, but at the end of the day, if I break that rule, fucking, unless I get caught, fucking, I will have no repercussions for it.
Or do this: put your head down and fucking go after shit and make yourself successful.
Yeah, I mean that's
all
the
you
people
can do.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because it doesn't matter who's president.
Fuck it. Let's go back to the Wild Wild West. Let's fucking.
I've been saying that for a long time. I like the mob movies and shit.
Let's just be lawless. Fuck it.
I'm a big.
I was
Fend
talking
for
about
yourself.
how I was an anarchist the other day, and you were like,
movie.
whoa, no, don't say that. No.
Fend for yourself.
Yeah, but like the anarchy is just like everybody like does that. Like I wouldn't mind having the mob is like, you know what I mean, like gangster shit.
To be honest, the mob runs their fucking shit better than the United States.
That's what I'm saying. Have the fucking mob in charge.
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
I do. They get shit done.
You didn't pay your rent.
Yeah, they get shit done when it needs to be fucking done.
You didn't pay your lease fees. Shit done when they needed to get done. Fucking no.
When it's run properly, it can be.
There is no mob like the United States of America.
I think ultimately the biggest.
That brings it back to why the fuck I don't vote.
Yeah, I hear you. I can understand why someone would have that perspective. Honestly, I do. But honestly, the other thing is, I think the biggest issue we have is the lack of accountability people have for themselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not the government's fault that you're not doing that shit. Actions, of course you don't. That's the hardest thing for people to do.
Yeah. No, I mean. We even talked about this the last episode, that people need to start holding themselves more accountable, and they need to have people who tell those people that. Are you guys having a moment over there?
Yeah.
She just threw something at me.
I hit his dick, actually.
She's been like this the whole night. Very high maintenance. Very high maintenance.
I cooked you a turkey. Shut the fuck up.
That fucking
you know what I mean? Like, dude, I just don't give it. She's been very fucking like.
It's that lesbian shit, bro. Yeah. Like she's a girl and is around another girl all the time.
Very demanding. She has been the whole night. I'm just looking at Katie. I'm like, you are so sweet,
bro.
Where the fuck did you find this? Where the fuck did you get this from?
You want to know one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen? Bailey actually looked like a woman for once. I saw her cooking in the kitchen.
She had her hand up the turkey's ass.
In the turkey's ass.
Dude, I fucked that turkey.
You fucked it?
Yeah. I brought my strap. You didn't know. I took it into the.
I thought there was kind of like a weird peppery taste to it. So maybe that was.
No, it was semen. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually took semen and injected it into my strap, and it. Yeah.
It's kind of hot.
I've
seen that one before on fucking Pornhub. You ever seen those ones with like the fucking foot-long strap-ons and they just come for like hours?
You have to Google that. It's pretty specific.
But was it me?
Strap-on turkey butthole. Like, wow, you're like, I found that once. Really specific Google porn search.
So Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. No. So
yes, let's go right into Bitcoin and FTX or whatever the fuck
Turkey
it is.
ass and Bitcoin.
It doesn't have
That's
to
the name
do
of this
with,
podcast.
It doesn't have to do with Bitcoin. My dad actually texted me and he was like, "Did you see the lawsuit that Bitcoin?" And he just doesn't understand it enough to know what's really going on.
Me neither.
But FTX has this lawsuit that is going on. Where,
didn't that dude file bankruptcy?
Yeah, apparently they filed bankruptcy. So fucking.
He's on the run.
Yeah, FTX is not. It's not a cryptocurrency. It was a trading like software, like a forum where you could trade cryptocurrency or whatever. Mm-hmm. And apparently they were doing a lot of shady shit. Like they named Tom Brady, a couple other athletes, fucking some famous people that were involved with it.
I saw Bieber put like 1.5 or something into it.
The thing about cryptocurrency is a lot of it is untraceable, and some of these companies that started up aren't in it for the right things. Like FaZe Clan, if you know anything about them, so they're kind of. They're in that whole LA crowd now with like the Bradley Martins and Nelk Boys and stuff that we talked about, and they some of their guys had this cryptocurrency that they pumped up a lot to get people to buy in, and then ended up selling out. And I think that's essentially what happened here. Like they were having people fucking give these not so legitimate cryptocurrencies, like sponsor them so people would buy into it, and then fucking you buy low and fucking sell high, and fucking then everyone else loses their fucking money.
Jesus.
Yeah, Logan Paul had FTX on his shorts for his last boxing match.
Yeah.
Or I think it was his last boxing match.
And
he was talking about it on his podcast, and he was making it sound like, he was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that this happened."
Sketchy shit.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened."
You remember Dink Doink, his cryptocurrency that he was fucking putting out? Or whatever, something like that. Yeah, it was a little paperclip fucking emblem or whatever that he had. He released his own cryptocurrency.
No, that was
super sketchy.
No, that was 100 originals. He released a crypto, or no, that was an NFT.
So hold on, is this dude gonna get like he's gonna get if they find him, whatever? I don't know what's going on with that, but like, is this guy gonna get arrested and like
he might be
put in jail?
But
the guy that started FTX?
Yes.
So apparently
if he gets
he's
caught,
on the run.
is he gonna get arrested?
Yeah.
Well,
okay, good.
He filed for bankruptcy. There's a huge lawsuit, and they ended up shutting down the fucking FTX forum, and they sold all their shit to Binance, which is actually the little cryptocurrency that I do own. I own Binance. They're Emirates fucking sponsored.
Yeah, I own some Binance.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shit going on there, but I mean the whole crypto space is as cool as it is, because it is something that is coming. Like fucking with our age, the way we're moving into like a digital era, a social era where everything is kind of governed by the internet type thing.
Right.
There will eventually be digital currencies that are able to be traded fucking around the world, fucking with the click of a button.
And you're able to purchase
the only problem
product and goods and services.
Well, it's not
in such its infancy that it's there's a lot of fuck shit going on.
So it's not regulated by the government.
Yeah, I know
it's not traceable.
I know that.
Like that.
So will it ever be?
So to be a huge mainstream, like it's mainstream, but to be an actual huge thing where that's what we use as currency, it will have to be.
Or in addition to what we have, like, or
that's
do you
the
think
reason
whoever
that this lawsuit is happening is because they were transferring a bunch of money over.
Well, yeah, he also transferred money out of like that account, that giant account, and apparently like just put it in his pocket.
Yeah, but it was untraceable. What's really fucked up about this is that he just recently got divorced, and something that Mike Malak was saying, he was like, did he get divorced and say, "Hey, take this money, I'll meet up with you, and we'll be fine"?
They ended up at the end of it taking like some shit like $10 billion out of the fucking company and fucking just transferring it to some offshore account where no one could get it, and people lost a lot of money and shit like that. It's super sketchy, bro. Super
See that? See, here's the thing, dude. Like shit like that, it's gonna make it harder for that to hit.
It's gonna make it harder for it, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna be harder for them to have.
Down really bad right now.
Of course it is. It's gonna be harder for them to be able to.
The economy, but it's just.
Yeah.
This definitely doesn't help.
No, it will.
It's going to hurt them from being able to use that for like products and services and shit, to be able to purchase things, product and services moving forward.
And then you have people like Tom Brady, who is fucking arguably the greatest football player of all time.
He had like billions in this company.
He had billions in this company.
I don't know if he had billions.
I think it was.
There were a bunch of people who were
billions.
doing these shady things. But the point is, like, these people who we hold in such high standard are now fucking like, that's sketchy as fuck. And like now it's just fucking making everything untrustworthy because not only are the fucking forums that we're fucking buying and selling the shit on fucking sketchy, but the people who are backing them that we look up to are sketchy.
Correct. That you're believing in that are actually doing the right thing. Correct. Now that's the problem. Who the fuck can you trust for shit like that? You know what I'm saying? That's like
really no one.
I know. That's why when I go to my financial guy and I'm like sit down and I do a mutual fund, I know that the guy's gonna do what's right by me and put it in the right position to grow and have growth and make money. It's like I'm cool with that. I get what people are doing and trying to come up with new ways to invest from a digital perspective. Yeah. But this kind of shit can happen.
Yeah, exactly.
More often than not.
And as much as
okay, I wanna so. $11 billion was lost from all consumers. $20 million was lost from Brady.
Yeah, I was going to say billion. Yeah, 20 million is still a lot of money, though.
But the billion is what I was getting for all consumers.
Because they took the funds that were invested into it and just transferred it out. Yeah, and I think like everyone lost their money that was invested into it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Super sketchy, bro.
Holy shit.
Super sketchy. And like you were saying, like we do want to have those fucking cryptocurrencies and things. The government getting involved with them is a little bit counterproductive in my opinion. I know that like at the end of the day, governments are there for a reason. And as much as we love to hate on them, we do kind of take them for granted because they give us the fucking pleasures that we have in our life. But I think the one good thing about cryptocurrency and shit like that is it's universal. It's not governed by one body.
Right.
We're also starting to see that era where like these governments no longer have control because most people are fucking getting their shit through these private owned businesses and all that.
The one thing I would say that I disagree with you on that is that the government provides us with all these pleasures. I look at us and say we provide ourselves with all these pleasures. The government provides the opportunity for us to have those.
Yes.
Well, they also make the laws to fucking protect our fucking...
For sure, that's what I'm saying. They allow us the opportunity.
They allow us to have
Yeah. But it's like they also... problem is like these people... then well, to my point of saying that is that the people then take that opportunity that they've been given to be successful and they fuck it up doing something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that just
that shit drives me nuts.
I was telling this to people, to fucking Drew earlier, because he was talking about how he works for Kroger, and he's like, dude, some of the shit that goes on there, like, this is a huge company, and like a lot of the people are incompetent. I was like, the stupidest people I've ever met run companies.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Apparently the guy that started FTX was a very young guy, and he made this company, and he didn't know really how to run a business, and then he fucked it up. And from the podcast I was watching, they were like, I don't necessarily think that he thought he was going to fuck it up like this.
Yeah.
And then he did, because it's
not
governed.
Saying he wasn't doing it with like malicious intentions.
Yeah, because it's he was like, oh, this money's not governed. This money, I can do what I want with this money because it's not under the federal government. It is not governed. It's governed by the company that provided this money.
At the end of the day, that's what happened because he transferred it away, but it was other people that invested into it.
But if that's the case, then why is he on the run?
Well, now he knows he's fucked up.
Well,
now
of course, but
he
should have
ton of trouble.
But I'm like, you should have thought of that before you did
that
shit.
That goes back to him being a very young guy.
Oh, that guy's
and
an
not
idiot
knowing
then.
how to run a business.
I think that it was based out of Florida, and because the jurisdiction of the United States was in Florida, that's where it became an issue. So now they're pursuing legal actions against him from the United States.
Gotcha.
Now, a lot of these cryptocurrencies have like these offshore accounts from like fucking like a Canary Island type of shit, some fucking island governed nation out in the middle of fucking nowhere that don't have the laws like that and can do it that way. But I think that they just don't have the infrastructure to build what they built with FTX.
Gotcha.
So it just
these offshore accounts where you get the tax benefits or whatever it is that you get for it's like, I get like you're skirting the line and toting the line and shit like that, but it's like when you hear somebody that is a business mogul and they're like, oh, I have offshore accounts here, here, and here. First thing that triggers in my mind is like, okay, how reliable is this person if they're doing this? But they allow them to do that.
Depends on what you mean by reliable. I mean, they have no jurisdiction.
Like, would you trust that person?
I mean, I remember watching
as a human.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
As a businessman,
so listen,
maybe. Yeah.
So listen,
but either way, as a human and a businessman, it's not necessary. You know what I mean? It's like
it's different.
It is. Yes.
So I saw this. I saw this clip from, I think it was Logan Paul. It might have been Nate Shot. It was one of those fucking big YouTube type guys. And he was like, once you start getting into fucking money and fucking you have a lot of money, you start meeting people who have a lot of money. And you start learning shit about why they have a lot of money. And it was Logan Paul.
Yeah,
and
Logan Paul talks about that.
He actually said, he's like, I think he was talking to Mark Cuban or some fucking billionaire rich ass motherfucker. He's like, they told me, do not store any of your money in American banks. And fucking, it just goes to show that like you can get away with a lot more. And fucking, the United States has no jurisdiction over there. So
it goes to show why Bailey doesn't vote and why the democracy we have sucks.
Like here's the thing though, I'm okay with being, because it doesn't latch.
Yeah, it just opens.
I'm okay with being successful in life in a sense that maybe I don't have $1 million, okay, but I'm happy with who the fuck I am at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that matters more than anything else, or should matter.
Well, I mean, I can be a complete piece of shit and be happy with who I am.
Well, that's pretty accurate.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
God his ass. I said that's pretty accurate. Did you hear that? That was a great joke.
I didn't hear it.
Okay,
well, I thought you were fucking alluding.
I wasn't fucking paying attention.
I thought you were alluding to the fact that you're going to.
No, he said I can be a giant piece of shit and still be successful. I said that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Or happy. No, you said happy. I said that's pretty accurate.
He ain't happy. Shut the fuck up, Keith.
Oh, she threw that one in there. I just did a little joke, like a little pun, just a little
that's
fucking
my
one-liner.
job on this podcast.
I did a little one-liner. That's all I did.
To shit
respect
on
that.
you.
Keep
I was just upset that she didn't,
I'm sorry.
Fuck me. Me too. It's fucking great.
Well, if you were a turkey's asshole.
Hey.
I would have got it fisted. Yeah, but so
Probably would have taken it the same way.
Yeah.
Now they're going. That's
Dead.
good.
mine would be way wider.
You didn't give it.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. What we got that one out of the way. We have talked for 40 minutes, so we can make it a little bit shorter. I don't really want to bring other people into it right now. I just don't think that's
I think the flow is good here.
I think we're doing all right. So
Fantastic.
we're going to bring it into our last little section and see what we have. What you've been sipping on, the media that we've been consuming. So I'll start out with this one because I have been streaming, and if you haven't checked out my streams, they're on the Linktr.ee that I have posted. I stream on Twitch. I've been playing the new Warzone that dropped for Call of Duty this week, and it's been all right. We've had some server issues, so the game doesn't necessarily play the way that it can, but it's starting to get there, and it's all right. I'm enjoying it.
It's a new game. You're going to have bugs.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I've also played Call of Duty so much. It's a little bit different because it's a battle royale rather than like the multiplayer that you said you've been playing. We're actually going to do a podcast with my buddy Luke, who's been on here, and Shad, who they both have been on here. So we're going to get into that and skill-based matchmaking a little bit. But that's pretty much been what I have consuming this entire week besides work is just a little bit of Warzone. So, Wallet, what you been sipping on?
Well, Kentucky basketball just started.
Yes, it did.
I don't want to talk about what happened on Tuesday.
Yeah,
okay,
let's
just we move.
Did you not
just hear that?
I'm a UK fan,
I
but
don't want to hear about
I'm
it.
a realistic fan,
right
bro.
into
Fucking we lost, move on, fucking rest of the
Yes,
season.
absolutely.
It ain't like they're going to do bad.
We've seen them do bad when they have teams that should be a lot better, but I mean,
that's any team.
It's not like we lost to fucking a nobody. It was Michigan State.
Just stop talking about it. Really excited about this season. The other thing too, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast. If anybody has not watched Godfather of Harlem on Epix, which is like a Showtime or HBO type channel,
I think the last 3 times you've been on here,
dude. Do you know why?
Still haven't watched.
Do you know why?
So
it's fucking amazing.
It's on like Crackle or some shit, isn't it?
Forrest Whitaker is he plays Bumpy
Forrest
Johnson.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Crackle?
He plays for
it's on one of those fucking
No,
weird
I know
ass
it.
fucking
I know what
third-party
Crackle
fucking,
is. I just don't watch Crackle.
He plays Bumpy Johnson, and it's just for like I told you I love mob type shit. Fucking amazing.
Yeah,
so good. There's only 2 seasons. 3rd season comes out in February.
So you love The Sopranos? So.
Oh, dude, that and The Wire.
I still haven't seen The Sopranos.
Have either?
I've never watched
God.
The Sopranos
I've seen
either.
The Wire too.
You can leave immediately after this podcast is over with.
I've never watched either.
Have you seen The Wire?
No.
Have you seen The Wire?
No, but I've heard plenty about The Sopranos and The Wire.
If you think
I've
Sopranos
heard a
is
lot
good,
about 'em, yeah.
The Wire is
I'll tell you what,
almost better.
The day that
Really?
you start Game of Thrones is the day that I start one of those.
Hold on. You've never watched
He's
Game
never
of
seen
Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
No.
Oh,
because that
fuck you then.
shit's
I ain't
fucking-
watching The Sopranos.
Dude, Sopranos is
you.
real fucking people. It's not a fucking dragon flying.
Game of
That's
Thrones
not, and I've
is
explained
Fuck
to
that
you.
shit.
I've explained to you.
amazing.
Fucking Game of Thrones.
It's like fucking watching The
politi-
Hobbit or
it is-
Lord of the Rings
No.
type shit.
Listen,
Fuck
it is
that.
a political drama with fantasy aspects. And
Yeah, I don't
it's
like the
not really
fantasy
that
aspects.
It's not really fucking that fantasy of a show.
It's awesome.
It's just
Okay.
it's a political drama.
I get
I've
you.
explained this to you, and fucking I will tell you that once you get to the 3rd season, you will be completely hooked.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to get into it.
It's going to be really hard for
You
me to
have to
put
get into
effort
it. I
into the
wouldn't say the
first 2
third
seasons.
season, to be honest. Like after like the midway through the first season is where I was like, oh, I got to keep watching.
No, I'll be honest. I've talked about a lot of people with this. The first season, it's good in my opinion. I've been watching it since the first season. It doesn't necessarily grasp you like the later seasons do.
Okay.
But the 3rd season is where shit really pops off in a way that you
Won't even think of. Yeah.
Homie.
I mean, I'm a huge.
Is the 3rd season the Red Wedding?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey-yo.
man. I know that's your favorite fucking. You
a-
talk about so much.
I'm a
You
huge.
Battle
talk
of the
about the
Bastards
Red
is my
Wedding
favorite.
so much.
Season 6, Battle of the Bastards is the fucking.
That is a good one.
I was watching the show. I watched the first season. 2nd season came out. I watched it. 3rd season came out. I watched it. But the Red Wedding was where I was absolutely hooked.
No, the Red Wedding is fucking insane. And if you watch it, you'll fucking understand.
I
what
get
the
it,
fuck
but
the
like
Red
you're
Wedding
talking
is.
to a person who likes Entourage and like Suits, like from like a business perspective, and like
And
your
that's
boys, your
fine.
Entourage, like your
there's business aspects
type
in this
shit.
show.
Like
It's
the
just
fantasy
older.
thing, I just
Dude,
don't get into.
the-
I've never seen one Star Wars.
What?
Okay, that's fine. Star Wars is nowhere even close.
I
to
get
fucking
it, but like
being
if
No,
I
it's
was
not, but you
looking,
still
I'm
should
not
see
saying
it.
it is,
Bro,
but it's also fantasy
I-
aspect. I'm more into Wolf of Wall Street.
homie.
know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
I'm just
I mean, I
letting
like
you
Wolf of Wall
I'm
Street
just
too.
letting you know.
Okay.
It is legitimately the greatest thing to ever grace a television screen. Movie, television, whatever it is, nothing fucking holds a candle.
The
I think
story,
MASH
but
was
even
the greatest
just
show of all time.
That was the most
okay,
viewed.
MASH is
Well,
actually
but I
pretty
love
good,
it. I
though.
fucking love
the
MASH.
last episode was the most viewed. It's
No,
it's a
I'm
good
not
show.
even. I'm not even talking
But
about it for
that's a
that
different.
reason.
No,
It's
that's
fucking
MASH
that's
is-
I
people
know that.
tuned
I'm
in
just-
that for a different reason.
I just threw that out there. All right.
But anyway, fuck you. Watch Game of Thrones.
All right.
Can you give us something else that you've been watching besides the same
Godfather
three shows?
of Harlem. Godfather of Harlem. Dave is another show with Lil Dicky.
It sounds like
He's
this.
fucking
I
fantastic.
thought, okay, Dave.
He's
yeah.
hilarious. I mean, other than
Way better actor than musician.
Listen, I don't watch Kentucky basketball games. I listen to them in my
Yeah.
garage.
Yeah, you told me that.
All right, I'm not going to get into detail of what happens in there, but it's just done. Let's not talk about it. I can't
It's-
talk about it.
fuck's
So
in your
it's
gar- I've never-
psychological.
It's a superstitious thing.
It's
Sounds
a very
cold.
psychological thing. Yes,
yeah, like
absolutely.
when I'm watching my teams play and they start doing bad, like if I'm leaning on my left side and I lean to my right side and they stop doing bad, I lean to my left side.
No,
because it's my fault.
I understand.
It's not a superstitious thing.
I have
for me.
these
It's
Ray
just a
Bans, and I
mental-
lost them, and the Bengals started doing really bad.
Yeah.
I found my Ray Bans. Bengals are starting to do pretty good. I understand.
Mine's
no,
more of
I
a
get it. I get
mine's
it.
more of a routine and like a mindset being my comfort zone because I listen to the games. Tom Leach is the announcer for the games. He every time I listen to him, I cry.
You're in love.
Yeah.
Would you fuck him?
I can
Probably.
lend you my strap-on.
Is that the one he used on the turkey?
That way you could double penetrate it.
No,
Can you
that's just
clean
my
it
hand,
first?
buddy.
Can you clean
Hey,
it
that's
first?
just my fist. The
All
strap-on's
right.
better.
What are you sipping on?
What am I
A
sipping
strap-on.
on?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sorry for the family that watches this show.
She told me like fucking
My
months
grandma
ago.
will
My
watch
Well, it's like I
this.
told
yeah.
my mom and dad to just tune in.
No, my grandma. I posted on Facebook. My grandma
that's
watches
fantastic.
it. Which, thank you, Grandma, if you're
Hi.
watching.
Hey.
I'm so sorry, Grandma Janet. But you know who I am as a person.
I'm
and
not
you
like
know the
this.
I mean,
struggle.
I think that she's seen enough of me over these episodes to understand who I am as a person. I'm just gonna be
Hey,
me.
she forgot. She
apologize.
forgot that you gave her Jack, and then I took the Jack that I
Bro,
got.
I'm not gonna lie. Is it Earnhardt?
Grandma
What's the-
Janet.
Grandma Janet.
Yeah.
Grandma Janet was a little bit twisted last
Oh,
weekend
she
when I
was.
showed up.
She
to her
was.
engagement party.
Hey,
No,
yo.
but she forgot that you gave her Jack, and I got a bottle of Jack gifted to me for my engagement. And so I grabbed the bottle of Jack and was putting in the bag of all the wine and shit we got. And she goes, "What are you doing with my Jack?" I said, "Your Jack is right here." And it was like this much left. And she was like, "No, that's not my Jack. My Jack was full." I said, "No, it wasn't, Grandma." I said,
the second
Keith
I handed it to her, she was like, let's fucking share this.
I said, Keith gave you Jack.
And then she poured me a drink.
Yeah.
And it was an obnoxious fucking amount.
Yeah. And I said, then when you left, you told Keith he can have whatever he wants. And obviously, you say that he's going to do what he wants.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I don't. That's not what happened. I was like, Grandma, I think you were blacked out. Like, that is what happened.
She's trying to
and I left my bottle of Jack at the barn because, whatever. I don't drink Jack very often. I like Jacks or Jack and Cokes, whatever. But I don't drink it very often, so it's fine. But I thought it was so funny because I know what actually went down. She doesn't. Yeah. And it's all right.
So Grandma's been sipping on Jack.
What's Grandma been sipping on?
We know what she's been sipping on.
The whole reason why I bought the bottle of Jack was because at her birthday, the day before the Kansas City playoff game, before we went to the playoffs, it was the Saturday before that. I went over there and, we were drinking, having a good time for her birthday. And, like, it was one of those nights where Katie, her fiance, was like, I'm going to bed, like, alluding to some shit, and fucking Bailey was like, nah, sweetie, you go ahead, I'm hanging out with my boys. And fucking, so we got into that fucking Jack and, like, drank a whole lot and got really twisted. And apparently she, like, had mentioned something about it the next day because I woke up the next morning late. It was, like, 12:45. I was out in Springboro, which is, like, 50 minutes away. Yeah. And I walked down and fucking her mom was like, are you going to watch the game with us? I was like, I have to be in Cincinnati for this fucking game, and drove all the way there, got there a little bit into the first quarter, but I drank all of it, so I was like, you know what, engagement party, first time I've been back, I'm going to buy Grandma a fucking bottle of Jack. Yeah, so brought it up, and she poured me in fucking, I got way too fucked up last weekend.
I'd say so. And that's what happens when you party at the barn. Every time you've been to the barn, you've gotten too fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
I was more in control at your birthday than I was last weekend.
But I don't understand how we were. Because my birthday, we stayed up till 10 a.m.
We drank way more on your birthday.
Yeah. I don't understand how we were coherent. I was singing some fucking punk pop song. Fucking... That's all. I just was repeating it at the end of the night. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I remember
it was bad.
On your birthday, everyone passed out, and me and you listened to our mixtapes for a couple hours.
We're very pretentious.
I mean, it was a very pretentious thing to do, but at the same time, like, we're both fucked up, and we're just gonna enjoy what the fuck, because the shit that we put into our mixtapes, like, those are fucking songs. Those are fucking where we come from. Right. So it was a good time. Little engagement party.
No. Yeah. But I mean, I've been sipping on. I got the actual Call of Duty.
Yes, you got the multiplayer.
Yeah, I got. I haven't played the campaign yet because I've been waiting for a time where I can just sit down and fucking put hours into the campaign. Yeah. Because that's how I usually do it when I get a game where I actually want to play. Because I don't play video games very often. But the new Call of Duty, there's a lot of mixed reviews on it, and it is like the games that we would play when we were younger. And there's aspects.
I've never heard something so wrong in my life, but okay.
Have you played the actual game?
No.
Okay.
But I come from Call of Duty. Like,
no, I do too. I do too.
Not like me. You're gonna get it next week, audience.
Okay, do it before that, and maybe you'll feel the same way.
I talked about it with Alex Wagner, and he came through. I've played every Call of Duty except for the newer ones where everybody was like, no, these games suck, don't buy them. So I didn't put my money into them and buy them. But I played Call of Duty on my fucking PlayStation 3, Xbox 360.
Or PlayStation 3.
Or was it PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
PlayStation 4, Xbox 360. Played Call of Duty on all of them. I would sit in my room. I know you guys don't know me as that kind of person of playing video games.
And that's exactly why I know that you have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, God.
But you don't know me like that. And when I was younger, I used to fucking sit in my room, fucking play video games. When I was fucking 13, I'd sit in my room, drink fucking year-old Bud Light that was in my fridge downstairs and play Call of Duty.
Okay.
Like, that was my thing.
Well.
And the game now it's not the same as when we were younger, but it has the same aspects. The only thing that's different is that you can customize your weapons a lot better than you could back then.
Yeah.
The gameplay is way faster than it was back then. Mm-hmm. Like, the multiplayer gameplay, super quick. Even Sam was like, God damn, this is really fast. Like, and it is. but that's just how games have evolved over the years.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, obviously the graphics, everything like that is way better.
That is one thing that I have to say about Warzone that I've played. Again, we're going to touch on this a lot next week because that's kind of like the center point of the thing is going to be reviewing Call of Duty, Warzone, and skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, I suck at Warzone, by the way, but I suck at every Battle Royale game I've ever played like that.
The Warzone that they just released with it, the new one, the Battle Royale, it's the most realistic feeling game. I mean, obviously it's not realistic because it's a fucking video game, but like you're sitting there and you're like on the outskirts and you can hear people calling in fucking airstrikes and shit.
No, that's how multiplayer is for this.
It looks really beautiful. Cool. It actually takes place, like you look at these other games, they have to limit like the levels of shit because like they want it to be compatible with the players. This is like actual cities with skyscrapers that they fucking build into the game.
That's pretty sweet.
That's how the multiplayer is too.
Not the multiplayer.
No,
the multiplayer has to. Well, they do. I'm gonna get into it a little bit next week.
Yes,
Continue.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know your buddy. Like I was telling Katie when she was watching me, she was like, "You're actually pretty decent at this game." I said, "Tell the fucking boys that I'm decent at this game."
Here we go.
Because they're gonna shit on me because I don't play video games.
Oh, we'll shit on you in the game too.
I know. And the thing is that Hunter was like, you don't play video games with me. I can't believe you got this new Call of Duty and you haven't invited me to play with you. I don't have a headset, one. I have very shitty Wi-Fi, two. Third is, I don't fucking want to play with you dickheads because you guys are assholes. I just want to fucking mute everybody and be in my own little zone and fucking play a video game.
I will say this. I love you and I would play games with you on... I don't want to say rare occasions. I would play video games with you, but when you get to a certain level of video games, you want to play with people that are on the same level as you, especially with the skill-based matchmaking and stuff that we'll talk about before. But like, my buddy Stolzy, you know who he is.
But they dedicate their life. Like Stolzy is a different breed of video game player.
Yes, I mean he sent me this clip the other day of Octane, who is a professional Call of Duty player who actually won the World Championship in September. And fucking, he resubscribed to his channel, and fucking Octane goes, "Yo, the dude who just subscribed to this channel, his name's Luke Magnify. He's like, he played on my second ever team in Black Ops 2, which was like 10 years ago. He said we were real nice." And fucking like, a lot of people that he used to play with, fucking, I mean, he's been on the podcast before. A lot of people that he played with are fucking professional players now.
He's a unbelievable player. I've watched him on streams.
Yeah.
That's way different than what I'm talking about with me. Obviously, I'm not going to be a fucking world class fucking Call of Duty player. Yeah. I'm not.
I get where you're coming from,
but I'm decent,
though.
And I bet I could shit on fucking him.
I don't play video. I've never played one
Sam.
Call of Duty video game, 1 second of Call of Duty. Now, if we were going to play Tiger Woods 08,
if he has never played Call of Duty,
it's different. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to shit on Call of Duty next week.
Hey, if we play Tiger Woods 08 for PlayStation 3, I'll kill you.
We've been doing. I don't know if you've watched those podcasts, but like, me and Stolzy have done, and Shad have had like gaming encompassing either topics or entire podcasts.
No, I don't watch those because I don't play video games.
And we come from COD, so like we know Call of Duty, and like, the devs don't give a fuck.
You were surprised that I knew who Optic was. Mm-hmm. So I know a little bit more than you think I know.
Okay,
we'll just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. I think that we've fucking got it. We're creeping up on an hour. Didn't quite get there. It'll be a little bit shorter episode. This has been episode 43 of Your House, Our Rules.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Yo.
Peace.